All right, we're good. 1 second. How's it going, everybody? We're going to bring Lawrence up here in just 1 second. Just get this off here. All right, got Lawrence Wendell on today. How's it going, everybody? Second day of 2020, at least by the Gregorian calendar, but I don't think calendars matter anymore. Let's pull Lawrence up here. What's going on, Monique? There you are. Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me turn you up a little bit. What's happening, man?
Oh, just being.
Yeah, that's right.
Just being.
That's the best thing we can do. Just be. You still where you were last time we talked?
I am. Yeah.
That's up in what, Minnesota or something?
Yeah, I'm in Santee, Minnesota, at Maggie McGee's house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You getting any sunshine out there? You catching any rays by the pool?
Yeah. Lots of snow and cold temps. Deer, turkey,
Ice fishing.
owls, eagles, all kinds of critters.
Yeah.
A lot of nature, which is probably where Lawrence needs to be.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it is because I'm here.
That's right. That's right. Letting go. Living and letting go. Living large, loving large, and letting go.
Yeah. Lawrence doesn't make any plans or do anything without the hand of that I that flows through all of us, that one.
Yeah.
So I just, Lawrence has given up his will for that of the divine will, and I just go and be. It's really simple.
I think a lot of people can relate. It wasn't so easy getting to this point, but the point has not ever not been there. And I think we're getting better at staying there,
Yeah.
It takes a little getting used to, but it's pretty cool.
It's a different way of living for sure. I'm not accustomed to it. Well, I'm a lot more accustomed to it over these last couple of years, but it's an effortless way of being a human being, at peace.
Yeah.
It's not always peace, but as part of the adventure into the unknown, you just don't know what's up until you get there.
Do you, I mean, how much are you getting triggered? A lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now. People talking about stuff coming up because the energy is getting higher and, whatever, projections coming right back at you. Our thoughts have more powerful than ever. Do you get triggered much anymore? Do you have to go do any shadow, clearing anymore?
I'm constantly working on myself
Yeah.
in that regard. But it's not like it used to be. I mean, now it's a lot easier, a lot more easier. Now it's, I've practiced long enough to see the one in the other.
Yeah.
And know that there's a benevolence there, and that's what I ask for. So there's no judgment anymore. And that took practice. That takes practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone I meet is my teacher.
Yeah.
In one form or another.
Yeah, and it takes some conscious, consistent, no bullshit effort in terms of the thoughts we have. I mean, I've talked about it for the last couple of years. I used to be kind of sarcastic in a funny way. I thought it was, but there's not room for anything that would take away from that frequency of benevolence that you were talking about when you look at someone else.
I call it pure presence.
Yeah, pure presence.
Yeah, pure presence. In the now, paying attention to, the language that's behind the words, because the way the human interprets language coming through the other, it's based on a pattern that's been ingrained in our consciousness over eons of time.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to, you want to try to peek between the words and really be open to an even greater gift or a message that's hiding behind those words. It's definitely a practice I'm in. Practice makes perfect. The master of one's destiny, or master of one's experience. I mean,
yeah, and it's always for you.
Well, it is.
It's not for anybody else. You can talk about, hey, they need to learn this, or hey, they did that, or whatever. But it's always about you. It's always about me.
Well, we've grown up in a society that's built on a model that's called the hierarchical saviorship model.
Yeah.
Where there's a savior. We're here to save everybody else. Well, when you realize that everything begins and ends with you, you're forced by spirit to go within yourself.
Yeah. And
find your peace and your happiness and everything in there. Then it's in there that you find, that treasure that. Oh, where was I going with that? I lost that one.
You hit the nail on the head. A lot of people talk about finding creative, newfound creativity, I guess, something like that. Have you had anything like that happen?
No, I'm newfound. Well, I haven't in the last few months since I came back to Maggie's place. But when I went back out in the wilderness, I peeked into some new levels of let's call it prowess or more of a solidified bond with source energy.
Yeah.
Where I knew that I could do anything I needed to do whenever I needed to do it. And it's like, mean, it just blows the door wide open on limitations. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been pretty much isolated out here and, on 30 acres or 33 acres of forest and with.
That's nice, man. If it was a little
Yeah.
warm, I might head over there and come visit you for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
so with that, because I've spent a lot, over the last few years, spent a lot of times out in nature, and part of me is really organic, with the trees and the streams and the wind and the animals and all that. But there's another thing too, is the dimensional. There's the organic part, then there's more of the dimensional or interdimensional, other, other universal, whatever you want to call it. Have you had anything like that happen? Have you had any dimensional experiences or, heavy deja vus or past?
I'm constantly like having like flashes of like deja vu all the time, during the day. Just It happens innumerable times during the day, like you're in a dream, or you're just experienced a moment of another lifetime someplace. I will say that a lot of my dreams have been in that way too. It's like my waking state is very much like a dream state, a walking dream, because that's what I'm doing is I'm stalking my own dream.
Yeah.
As Carlos Castaneda would talk about.
Yeah.
It's about stalking the dream. Or I'm a dream walker by, other people talk about dream walking. And then there's Skywalker. I look forward to that.
There's stuff and whatever's beyond that too, right? Yeah.
Well, I come from such a grounded, just like earthly normal place. I mean, it's just like I don't have channeling capabilities or connections with. Well, I have connections, obviously.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, I'm just a normal guy having an earthly experience that's beyond earthly experience, but yet is still. It's like I'm still here in 3D, and I'm here in multi-D.
Yeah.
As a, I know wherever spirit takes me, it's to be of service to this creation.
Yeah.
So when you develop this bond, this relationship as a bond servant to creator, in other words, you've given up your life, you sacrificed your idea of what life should be, you've given it all up and say, okay, I'm yours. And I'm in the hands of, I hope it's the most beautiful woman, angel woman thing, there is. If there's a divine feminine, that's who I hope I'm in the hands with, because it's like if I'm the divine masculine, then I'm in the hands of the divine feminine who's carrying me where together we can do this whatever we're doing. Lawrence doesn't know because he doesn't. It's better for him not to know. Because
Richie Sauter was on the other day and he talks about how this has already happened, but not in the way a lot of people say that everything's already happened, but that the path has already happened. And the minute we start thinking, we get off the path. There's nothing to think about. Just it's that space you're talking about. But
it's mastering presence. I mean, truly being in the now, and that's getting the thoughts, because thoughts become things.
Yeah.
And if you put your earthly intention out there, your earthly desires out there, you better be careful what you're wishing for.
Yeah. Or, I look at it like a collaboration. I agree there's a surrender, but the surrender is I'm not going to control it. This is an equal proposition. I like what you said about the masculine feminine thing. If I'm a masculine, I'm being held by the feminine, and that there's a lot of truth to that.
And there's the only limitations is the human that's attached to the human, or let's say the spirit that's attached to the human, and its self-importance and its identification and its beliefs and all that stuff. When you can shed those layers and upon layers and layers and layers, and you become so freaking empty. I'm going to tell you that more empty we become by letting go of third dimensional ways and means, the more we can be filled with the divine ways and means. And you know what? That's where all the magic's going to happen in your experience. If you want magic, you want to experience the quantum, become quantum, you got to give it up, buddy. You got to give up, Lawrence, Lawrence got no importance. Lawrence is nothing, yet everything at the same time, because.
And it's not just words. If I bet if we asked the last 100 people that have been on this show, have you ever been happier? I think a lot of them would say, I've never been happier. Now, does that mean that you got $1 million in the bank and everything? No, it doesn't. It means that you're in this place where nothing makes sense and things come to you as you, sustain and expand that vibration and that work you were talking about, always working on yourself and such. But it's a weird place. But I think we're starting to get used to it. I think enough of it's been going around. Enough of people have been expressing it through their lives, and it's catching on with people.
I would have to say I've been blessed. This thing is like a double-edged sword. I've been blessed. I'm very singular. It's just me, myself, and I. And it's like being, an owner of a company. It's very lonely at the top, of your creation, because this is my creation.
That's right.
This is what I am creating for me, for the benefit of all I am, we are, because I no longer identify with me as Lawrence. It's a weird, it's like, it's wrapping your head around something that you never thought you could wrap your head around. But when you can wrap your head around it and see it and experience it through others, it's a very, very beautiful and wonderful thing, because the intricacy of the way the multiverse, it's called a multiverse anyway. This is my universe, in my local universe. Everything that comes through me, around me, just happens to be connecting to your universe right now, as you are the alpha and omega in yours, and
69 other people.
And
69 other people. I mean, all these universes are converging. I think that's one of the things that's coming out of this, you might want to call it the internet age or whatever, where you can actually bring in more frequencies, such as the visuals and the sound and the numbers of people. The comments, everything is carrying vibration. I love what you said about Lawrence is gone, basically, because I love having these conversations because it make me think. And I was thinking, is Todd gone? And I thought, well, I get what he's saying. I think in that respect, yes. But on the other end of it, Todd's the vehicle, Todd's the energy or whatever you want to call it, the meat suit, whatever you want to call it. But I enjoy that part of it, and I want to make it fun.
Okay, then here's another way I could explain it is Lawrence is in the back seat now.
Yeah.
He's in the limo.
Yeah.
Along for the ride as the instrument of peace for the Creator to work through all I am, we are. I've already worked through my shadows. I know the benevolence there's always benevolence hiding in every one of my shadows.
Oh, yeah.
And they're to be of service to this instrument, just as all part. It's like we're all two sides of the same coin. We got to learn to love all of it.
Yeah.
If you reject anything, that's resistance. Resistance stops the flow, bro.
Yeah.
No resistance. Just trust that. God, I don't understand this right now, but I really know that something's good coming of it. Yeah. I know, because of all the other times that, it just, with practice of alchemically transforming those obstacles into stepping stones, it becomes easier and easier and more instantaneous. And now, this beautiful connection with my or my holy matrimony with the, first source from all that, which we all come, it's like we're here to build a new creation. And do we know how? I mean, in fact, that's why those that had dominion over this planet, this creation before, are so fearful because they have no concept of any idea how it would work, to give up control, or to, what do you mean without money? How do you do it without money? Kind of thing. It's like the humans have been left here to try to figure it out, and the only way to figure it out is to let go of being human. Let go of being human. Become superhuman.
Well, at least try something we've never tried before. And most of that's, it's not like you're trying to pin the tail on the donkey, with the blindfold on. You have some semblance of the path. You have intuition, you have imagination, and you have all these stories around the world of people that are actually doing it. And it's not in the major headlines, but it's out there. That energy's out there. And the cool thing about it is too, like you said, you learn from everybody. And so every time somebody sees the Lawrence Wendell story, that's how many different energies are contributing to that universe. You may have your universe, I may have mine, but you are part of mine.
Yeah, you exist. It's the, infinite parallel universes, right? I mean, that's why they say, where what is it? Where one go, we all go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it from the perspective of the eye of the beholder. And that's just it, is we become a master of our own creation, and the universe is beautiful in that it honors my creation, so long as that my creation is good for the benefit of all I am. We are, all my other selves that are also here. And so as we come together with, my ways and your ways and his ways and her ways, we're affecting this mind of God, if you will, this morphogenic field that surrounds this earth, and we're changing, the species, the human species.
That's exactly right. Dimension, realm, universe. And speaking of that, instead of the outer, how about the inner? What's the relationship with the physical body? Is it talking to you? Is it getting younger? Is it healing? Is there anything out of the ordinary with that? Or, is it talking to you?
No, I'm not having symptoms anymore of anything. I still have ringing in the ears, pretty heavily. In fact, pretty heavily. But other than that, I'm losing some hair. I had a lot more hair before I started this journey, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't think I'm losing any, but my hair has turned white, man, like overnight.
Yeah, it did that too.
I wake up in the morning, I look like Albert Einstein. In fact, I look like it most of the time. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to shave a little bit more and comb my hair more because it's looking pretty rough.
Oh, you look great, man. You still look like a young man.
Yeah, and then what about like just socially? I mean, and I bring all this stuff up so we can all expand and just throw it around, right? But there was like parts of the last, it's like as long as say we've known each other, last year and a half, where you'd see like on social media people projecting, having to be right, pointing somebody out that's wrong, and this and that, and then it kind of went away, and then it like spiked in the last couple of months, I think. But it's a different kind of, it's a different kind of thing. You see people come back the next day and say, hey, you know what? I projected yesterday, or you see people retract things. I mean, I guess where I'm going with it is this it is all about us. And it seems like it's getting more enhanced when we're focusing on other people or anything other than ourselves. We're, in those moments participating in the same loops we always had. Do you see any of that out there? Do you run into that in your human interactions and that type of thing?
Yeah, and that's the discipline that's required of the human to, again, hold that space of peace without judgment
Yeah.
for those who are going through what they're going through.
Yeah.
Coming from a place of humility, understanding, forgiveness, all that stuff. Number one, we all come from the illusion of separation now. I mean, we're transforming from the illusion of separation to actually seeing that, oh my God, these are aspects of me, parts of me that, I went through my shit and they're going through theirs now. It's just so like, we're here to make it easier for them. And that's why I trust if, I get carried places, I'm carried to others that can be of service to me, and I can be of service to them. Yeah. It's always an energetic exchange. There's always a gift exchange going on in the presence of others. So yeah, it's about holding space, holding the energy, practicing living in the future. I live in humanity's future in a sense, the way I live, free of all, and I mean all, of the ties to the hierarchical structure of this planet. Yeah. So in that place, I hold space for the energies, for people when they're ready. That's my purpose, I guess. I'm guessing because that's what all I got to do is be. I mean, it's just like, how simple does it get? It's like, there's no ego feed here. There's no ego feed, but the beauty is by holding your peace in the presence of somebody who's losing their peace, you help heal yourself and them, because they are a part of you. And that's where the magic flows. Yeah. Holding that pure presence. So if 3D shouts and spirit whispers, holding that space for them, allowing them to spew and share whatever they got to share and have understanding. And boy, I'll tell you what, that'll just diffuse any situation now in these energies now. Yeah.
They'll work with you. That's
yeah.
One,
yeah. Yep.
That's why I said, to me, it's like, it's that surrender is definitely there all the time, every day, every single day. And that's the work, because you're surrendering, quote unquote, 3D aspects or the Lawrence or the Todd, but the personality or whatever, the role, the label. But to me, it's like a collaboration, because every time you move, something moves back. You know what I mean? And if you can be in that place and sustain that place of peace, then those things become smoother and smoother and more magical, like you're talking about.
I can feel it. I can feel it in the presence of others, and within myself. I feel a lot more at ease. Yeah. Nowadays, because that trust has been forged, in me through practice.
Yeah. So when I ask you, which you could be asking me, the answer is going to be the same. So when I ask you, do you know where you're going to be in 3 months? Do you know what you're going to be when you grow up? Do you know where you're going to be in a year? I mean, that you don't know. Just
well, in a sense, yeah, it's very true. There's a part of me that knows everything. that tells me I'll know what I need to know, because for whatever reason, Lawrence is kept in the dark in that respect. And I think that's part of his initiation or whatever. I don't know. I've been through many phases of initiation, if you will.
Yeah.
And by operating in the unknown, that's training me to trust in the guidance of spirit.
Yeah.
And to push through those comfort zones that I once held true to. You know, it's the only way to release yourself from the matrix, or the construct of what we call third dimensional reality, and open ourselves up to new potential, because we're all infinite potential. We're energy. That's a key point, which helps me a lot, is to get outside of, quit thinking I'm human. I'm the energy. In fact, I love am. We are. Love is the currency, the current that carries us, the currency that I keep within thee. Yeah. I don't give my life force energy to anything except to source, which is you or humanity. Mm-hmm. Or Gaia. In other words, I'm not giving it to a false narrative. There's this body, this instrument, it is the depository of the currency. Yeah. Which is my energetic form of exchange. It's my soul signature, which is very unique to this instrument, as each of us has their own.
Right on.
But I don't feed. It's like if I used to be a battery that kept the matrix alive, I no longer feed it.
Yeah. I was watching, you brought up the energy thing. We watched this movie last night, Phenomena, with John Travolta. And I don't know if you ever saw it, but he gets apparently hit by a bolt of lightning or something, and he starts ascending, basically.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. That's a great movie.
He has a telekinesis, and he says, they were saying, well, how can you move that pencil, And he says, it's energy. It's the same thing as me, So it was interesting to watch that show last night.
That's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. And then the other parts of it too, where people were that external reacting to him, and it was literally any of us going through ascension. The higher your vibe, the smaller your tribe for a while. You know what I mean?
Oh, believe me, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But I think the tribes are starting to congeal now. I think people are starting to get out there now.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
true.
I just trust, and that's my thing, is sharing.
You mentioned the divine feminine. I was just curious, we talk about, this stuff all the time. We never talk to somebody so my question is, how do you think meetings in this flow, like I'm just going to say, when you meet, how do you think that's going to affect you? Meeting her. How do you think that will affect you?
I don't know if I'm gonna, because I have this question, because DC Comics speaks to me. Superman, Spider-Man, Green Lantern, even what's his name? Will Smith. The drunken. What's his name?
Drunken Master. What?
Huh? Will Smith played that superhero, and he was a drunk on the streets, and he'd get called into action and whatnot. Anyway, he had these superpowers, and then if he got involved with a woman, that would drain his power. He wouldn't. They'd actually become vulnerable to the 3D construct. Just like me, if I put money in my pocket, if I have money in my pocket, this structure is going to ask me to, to pay for something.
Mm.
That basically, I'm consenting to that reality. So I have to conform to those laws, those rules.
Mm.
We only leave those jurisdictions when we release the requirement or the belief in that requirement.
That's right.
Like a driver's license, all those kind of things. But, I'm just here to tell you from my side of the fence over here that Lawrence's journey allows him to share that, the more I let go of, the more I was like taken care of. In other words, I just put my trust in the universe, and, police officers, when I had a car, a truck, never pulled me over, even though I didn't have plates on my truck. It's like, because I put my trust in it. It's like I was told that this is a false narrative. This is a harvesting mechanism. Everything is in 3D is a harvesting mechanism to harvest your life force energy. If you want to embody eternal life, well, you are eternal life in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But if you want to defy death and you want to live a long life, don't give your life force energy to a structure that's just a harvesting mechanism.
Mm.
It's a life force. You give your life force energy to receive a fiat currency and use an exchange.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. And maybe some people choose to experience more of that, and I think this is a great, not just a literal explanation, but more importantly, an energetic experience that you've created that's actually making space for others. And that's the thing about it. One person, Jason Nessa said this the other night, one person does something and it's available to everyone. And we've talked about it on this show, for a couple of years. So what you're doing out there, let me remind everybody, you don't have a driver's license. You don't carry money. You totally checked out of the system. And for those of you who don't know his story, you got to go watch the first couple of shows from last year where he talks about his experiences. But yeah, energetically, you held the space and you never let go.
It's all energy, bro. It's all energy. And if it's like I look forward to other modes of transport. I look forward to, all kinds of, in other words, not needing the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Because, there's this innate that's already here. And this is it's like, I am the ocean of consciousness.
Yeah.
That ocean is a sea of energy. It's the holy sea.
And going back to that movie Phenomena too, somebody mentioned, did anybody get zapped today? Somebody else said something too, but and that happened in that movie. He went out to that lady's property and he was walking. He goes, "Hey, you feel that?" And he talks about, feeling like he was getting nauseated and dizzy. Same, it was the metaphoric thing is incredible. But anyway, there's been people talking about stuff like that more frequently, like a lot of the other stuff that is maybe developing common denominators and what's happening with people. But last night, a friend gifted us for a few weeks an RV, and we're testing it out at our friend's place, like a couple of nights, just to see if we could do it. And so last night, Morgan walks in, and as she walked under the fire alarm, it went off. And I said, "That's weird," not thinking there was anything related to it. And so then about 10 minutes later, she walked past it again and it went off, and I'm looking at it going, "What the hell?" And so, and then a little, a few more conversations later, and we were talking about it and looking at the energetic message. What does this mean? What's going on? You know, trying to just make some sense of it. And then it happened to me. And that's the only time it went off. Like you could feel the energy. And it reminded me of that movie, which is not a coincidence that we watched it. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, you know, weird stuff happens. Yeah. I don't know, you know, what the cause of it is. It's just like, is this just a glitch with my computer, or, you know, something's weird's going on? But other than that, not so much. I mean, nothing to really,
Yeah.
not like that. I mean, I can't say I've noticed lights flashing on and off as I walk into a room.
Richie Sauter says he sets off car alarms. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, you know, some people. Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's why I like doing this show, because there's so many different, you know, ways that you know, quote unquote, the universe speaks to people, you know, through channelings, through downloads, through organic experiences, through that intuitive, you know. We're going to talk to Augusti and Vera tomorrow, I think, and they're doing it as a couple, which is mind blowing. And I guess to a degree, Morgan and I are doing it too, you know, and there's a lot of people doing it, but you and Vera and Augusti are going all out, man. I mean, I got to hand it to you.
Got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I am an eternal being. It's like there's no fear here, bro. It's like once you face death,
yeah,
there's just like it's like it's a beautiful thing when you get your back. You know, the funny thing is when you get your back up against the wall and you say, well, there's nowhere to go but forward. So here we go. I'm going to trust. and
that's why I could relate to you when I met you last year, because it's
yeah,
one step at a time, you know. I went upstairs and my friend said, that was a nice post you put up. And I put up posts every morning. A lot of them come from the memories that pop up, and I just put them through Soulogy and approve posts in Soulogy and, you know, do stuff I got to do, right? And so I didn't even really read it, but it was a repost from 2015, and like maybe a year off the streets or whatever. And that's what it was about. It was just about, you know, basically like, you know what, I know who I am. I know there's a perfect order to the universe. This has been an MF, but
yeah,
you know, the birds are talking and this is happening and that's happening. And yeah, one step at a time though. I remember those days and I know what you're talking about. I mean, that's all you can do. And you're really doing it now. There's just not all that crap, you know, there's not all that stuff stuck to you.
Well, there's a purpose to being, you know, stripped naked.
Yeah.
Empty.
Empty.
I mean, when spirit takes you, you know, basically kicks you out of the bank, kicks you out of the system, it's, you know, when 3D kicks you out,
yeah,
and instead of resisting it, going with the flow, there's a funny thing that happens when you're completely stripped naked, and you learn to appreciate the smallest gifts, the smallest things.
Yeah.
And it's just so simple. I mean, you don't have to carry any baggage with you. You don't. I mean, it's just like you're empty, but you're full because the whole world is yours, and then some. You know, if you're in the hands of Source, it's all yours. When Source says, "Okay, here you go."
And when you surrender.
The only way to get there is through surrender. Yeah.
But you can't surrender. Okay, I'm surrendering, and now I know I'm going to get it, because it doesn't work that way.
No, you can't do it with any expectations. You gotta just, you know, do it and trust. You know, I can say that, you know, Wile E. Coyote, who jumps off the edge of the cliff, you know, chasing the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
you know, and he's got his eyes left up here as he starts to fall down. You know, that look that he has when he goes off the edge of the cliff is the oh shit look.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you tell yourself you're a victor, the universe has no other option but to respond to you in accordance with that belief.
And
If you want to choose victim, you know what? The universe has no choice but to respond, to create, you know, to show you just how powerful you are with your thoughts, your beliefs.
Yeah.
It's going to prove you right by mirroring that back to you. So if you want something, be it.
Yeah. Now more than ever.
Now more than ever, because the universe is going to reflect that back to you in your experience, so long as what you do is for the benefit of all and there's no harm, you know, to earth, the animals, or the people.
And it's an interesting, and I go back to that word collaboration. There's not a word for it, in my opinion, but it's like knowing you know nothing, knowing you control nothing.
I control nothing.
So knowing that if you hit that 0 points, or we'll say zero limit space, that if you hit that space, there is a perfecting collaboration that brings incredible, magical consequences, you know, results.
It's the only place the quantum can flow. The quantum potentials can flow is in that place of, you know, without charge, free of charge, I call it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when I was out on the streets, I called myself home free. No, I'm not homeless. I'm home free.
Damn it.
And I am. I'm home free. But look, there's many mansions in my castle, and you know, many mansions in my kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm in Maggie's mansion right now, which is, you know, it's like all is I.
Yeah.
So who needs to own anything anymore? You don't.
Well, and you know
it's
what?
A lie.
And we're going to get to that. All of this stuff is happening. It's all going to happen.
We're all going to get here. We're already here now.
Yeah, the ownership of anything is out, including your own self. You know what I mean by that? I mean,
well, you know what? It's funny that the word one used to be, you know, as little as 400 years ago, I believe, used to be pronounced as an own, as an OWN. So that ought to get you to start thinking. Our language has been used to twist and distort and set up limitations within our own thought patterns and beliefs. But, you know, it's all own. That's why sometimes I write the word O with a dash across the O, N-E, for own, as a long O, for like as in only, because there is only one.
That's right.
There is only I, expressed in many eyes. You know, one eye is a pupil. What is a pupil but a student? I'm a student. And if I can see with one eye, you know, see through the eye of singularity where we're all one, then I can say we, the one people. You know, I think the Hopi prophecy, the Hopi spoke to the we, you know, the return where they would call themselves the one people. And they actually used the word one people.
Yeah.
Which is plural for pupil.
The etymology and semantics of the universe.
Yeah, more even sound vibration.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that well, you know, and I don't even like bringing it up because it means nothing to me, but the former controllers, whatever you want to call it, whoever, you know, I mean, used the math and the sacred geometry of the universe and created a virtual reality, basically.
And that was us. I mean,
yeah,
we did it. I mean, there's no blame here. We created it to experience separation.
That's right.
And it's about taking responsibility for it. That's why I have returned. That's why the I am presence is descending into earth, into the humans that open themselves up to receive, you know, allow that source energy to embody and co-create together. As you know, as Lawrence sits in the back seat, he can bear witness to the
Yeah.
wonders.
Yeah, I like that. I like that analogy when you use that. Back in the limo, having
Yeah.
having a
Or the
champagne.
ship, the partnership.
Yeah, the ship. Yeah.
The partnership.
So, and what about gratitude?
Oh, powerful, powerful gratitude. Powerful for the smallest, littlest things. Like I have a warm place to stay in a very cold state.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I know
uh,
that.
every day
Yeah,
I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful because I know that we're here to co-create a wonderful place where everybody won.
yeah,
You know, that game, everybody did win, or I should say everybody won, literally and figuratively won. And we're all gonna bask in it.
yeah.
The question is it going to be this lifetime or the next or the next or the next? It's a choice that's going to be made individually
That's
by the
right.
human.
That's
Uh,
right.
they're gonna either raise their vibration, make it sufficient enough before they leave here, so that when they come, they can come back and pick up where they left off and keep going. That's kind of the understanding that I have is just Spirit told me to quit being so myopic. It's like a blink in the eye of time is when you step out of time. I'm telling you, it's here now, and there's nothing to fix. Everything's perfectly imperfect for a perfectly good reason, because there'll always be 3D. And we've always been multi-D. We just forgot.
Yeah,
So really the only thing that's changing is within our perspective, within our ability to translate our experience and co-create that experience.
declare that.
It's not
Declare
going south like it was.
reprogramming, deprogramming, reprogramming, and saying BS to that virtual reality. But and people are doing it. It's happening.
Yep. Back to the future. Back to
Yeah,
the
if you
future we
don't,
go.
and if you don't get caught up, well, I'm not preaching. I'm just saying when we don't get caught up in comparisons, and again, that's just another face of separation, all that.
Yeah.
You can actually see in so many examples of people that are actually doing this energetically. It looks different on the outside, but it's the same thing. Proportionate to their current surroundings and where they're living and what they're doing, relations and the whole 9 yards. People taking steps for, really, in human terms, for themselves as the I am, not as a selfish human, but as a conscious, I'm working on myself every day, I am presence.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of courage and a lot of love.
Yeah.
If you got enough of one, the other will come. And that love is, expressed through the heart virtues of humility and forgiveness and understanding and valor and compassion and gratitude, appreciation. That is love. Each of those is an expression of love.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful, alchemical, energetic, shift your reality expression when you can actually focus those virtues inward. Forgive yourself for seeing the other as separate.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever is presenting to you is just something that needs to be presented to you for whatever reason. Because you are the other. So if you focus, instead of focusing those things on the other like there's something wrong with the other, no, focusing them on yourself. And boy, that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's taking responsibility for the I am that I am.
Yeah.
We got to take responsibility and accept responsibility for what we did create so that we can co-create from a solid foundation.
Yeah. And whatever you've created up to this moment.
Yeah, you can let it go.
Don't be attached to it. I mean,
Yeah, you can let it go when it's your time. You know, your higher self will push, pull, and drag you through. And my recommendation, when you start going through some stuff, try to look at it like, let's say they come out to your place and they want to garnish your bank account because you're late on a bill, or you can't pay your bills because you don't have a job, or whatever the case may be. You know what? My recommendation is to see it as, okay, Spirit, I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to put all my trust into you, and I'm going to choose to see this as 3D's kicking me out of 3D, to embrace my potentials beyond what I can conjure within my own mind. So let's do this. And you know, and don't judge, you know, the bankers that allow the funds to be stripped from your account.
More importantly, pay attention to what you're being shown, because there's a lot of people that have gone through that. You can relate, I can relate, and a lot of people out there. You know, if we don't listen, the extremity of the situations can get, you know, become, you know, more intense.
They become magnified. Yeah. Your fear will become magnified, and so will your love, and you know, your choice to see yourself as a victor will become magnified, and it'll become a lot easier over time, you know, because we're going to go through some hard stuff. I mean, hopefully nobody needs to go through the stuff that I went through, but you know, we can make it as hard as we want to, or as easy as we want to. And my let go of the banks or the shores of the mainstream. I use the banks because of where I come from. Let go of the banks, because the current is going to rip you from the banks.
Yeah.
And when it does, it just means it's your time to establish that very personal relationship with the unseen hand that's there to guide you. And it's you.
Yeah.
In energetic form.
Yeah.
You know, it just put a little small fragment of itself in this body to operate this body, which is a spacesuit. It's an illusion to keep us seeing separation.
So you're sitting there for a bit. You can be there a bit in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
You talking about today, or for?
No, I just mean, like, do you have any plans to go anywhere? You got anything?
I never make plans, Todd. I live in the now, man. I don't know nothing as far as that goes. You know what? I gotta go to the grocery store tomorrow, and you know, it may be tomorrow. I get, you know, Spirit says, okay, it's time for you to go, and then I go. But no, I've been here since, back at Maggie's since October 2nd.
Oh, cool.
So.
Very cool. Well, maybe we'll head up that way when it's warm. You know?
Yeah, and don't come in the spring, because the mosquitoes might carry you away.
Really?
Oh yeah.
In the spring.
Yeah. The mosquitoes. Yeah. Whenever their season is for mosquitoes, I know later in the fall, the mosquitoes are gone and it's just beautiful. You can walk in the forest and you won't get carried away or eaten alive. But earlier, when I was, because I was here in the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, those mosquitoes will you know, carry you away. I think that's their state bird here.
Well, I'm from Texas. They have some big ones over there.
Yeah.
Like everything else, we just got to integrate with it. And if you run into it, you know.
Well, she has a couple of wetlands. She pretty much lives on a wetlands. It's like a pond.
Well, you ought to have some Sasquatch elders out there.
Well, you know, I've been hoping I'd have some contact, but no, not so far.
Well, I picked up on it a couple of times, and and other people that I know that have, much more than I have. But I think if you put it out there, they'll come. They know who you are, and I've heard more and more people having telepathic, connections with them.
Well, I'll work on that. I'd love that. I really would. I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah, right on. Well, let's catch up again soon. It was good talking to you. Sorry I was running late. We had some tech problems, but
No
they're
worries.
not problems. It's just the universe is just saying, "Oh, that's not going to work today. That needs to be fixed, or you need something else is coming." So I don't worry about it anymore either. I don't. Just find a way, no matter what. There's always a way. The one way. It's always a one-way street. It's a one-way.
There ain't no going back.
We don't need any traffic signs. It's a one-way street. No stop signs, no speed signs, no intersection signs, nothing. It's just a one-way street. It's called the Soul Highway. All right, man. I'll see you later.
Take care, brother.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.